Tim, I think you got a tough job here because you've got to play whack-a-mole. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver rising take-home pay, which of course he did. You've got to pretend that Donald Trump didn't deliver lower inflation, which of course he did. And then you simultaneously got to defend Kamala Harris's atrocious economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens. She had the opportunity to enact all of these great policies, and what she's actually done instead is drive the cost of food higher by 25%, drive the cost of housing higher by about 60%, open the American southern border, and make middle-class life unaffordable for a large number of Americans. If Kamala Harris has such great plans for how to address middle-class problems, then she ought to do them now.
Okay, that was JD Vance last night delivering on what voters had already previously told CBS's own pollsters, what they wanted to hear about at the debate, but they didn't hear enough about. It's the economy, inflation, and the border. Let's stay on the economy, inflation. Let's bring in, look who's here, TrendMacro Chief Investment Officer Don Luskin. Don, it's always a pleasure and wonderful to see you again. What did you make of the debate? Because all of that we just talked about took a back seat more than an hour in, and that's when the moderators first specifically asked about inflation policies, but only in the context of housing costs.
Right. Well, so many issues are at their heart economic issues. So I think, JD Vance was extremely articulate and smart in linking up the housing shortage to the excessive demand for housing that's been created by a flood of immigration, legal and illegal. He was absolutely right to pin inflation on the Biden-Harris administration. So I don't want to say that economics weren't mentioned in the debate. They were. And I think when it comes right down to it, we're talking about a Democrat and a Republican contesting for this presidency, both of whom have economic track records of about 4 years. And as JD Vance said over and over, the Trump years were years of prosperity, rising income, low inflation. We had that when Donald Trump was president. Then Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office, and we lost it all. We've just tried them both. Which did you like better economically? That question answers itself, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but when you looked at it, the second question was about climate change, not inflation, not the border, not crime, not the things at the top of American voters' concerns in the polls, what they want. I mean, we're seeing inflationary costs really hit working class Americans. They want the Biden White House. They want more than $2 trillion. They did do more than $2 trillion in extra spending that ignited inflation, the American Rescue Plan and the Inflation Reduction Act. We just didn't see enough of the details on all of that. Final word.
All I can say is if I were the Biden-Harris administration, I would be so ashamed of my record that I would love it when CBS raises issues like climate change in order to just scare everybody and distract them from the failures of that administration.
Don Luskin, you wrapped it up nicely. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Great to have you on.